Good morning, dear participants, as well as my dear students. Myself, Dr. Savita Krishna Tidme, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, Catechism College, Nashik. Now, today we are going to study the concept of multiple alleles. Now, multiple alleles. What are the multiple alleles? The phenotypic trait of an individual depend on a single pair of genes, each of which occupies a specific position called the gene locus on a homologous chromosome. So whatever trait, whatever character is there, that is like skin coloration, hair texture, as well as color of the pupils, color of the eyes, right? So whatever character is there, this character is reflected by a specific pair of gene, and that specific pair of gene is always present on the same locus on a homologous chromosome. You know what are the homologous chromosomes? Homologous chromosomes are nothing but a pair of chromosome which has a similar type of gene. So these chromosomes are said to be the duplicate gene or copy of one another. So they said to be the homologous chromosome. Now, a particular gene has always the multiple forms. Means for a particular gene there may be 2 forms, 3 forms, 4 forms. So these forms, variable forms of the same gene, they said to be the multiple alleles, okay, or alternative form of the same gene which influences the same character. Now, just for example, we can take example of a particular multiple allele. Now, let's say gene L for the length of wing in Drosophila, okay, that exists in 2 alternative forms, that is 2 allelic forms. So L plus is for the normal development of wings, and allele LVG is for the vestigial wing. Now Drosophila with the normal wing thus has 2 wild type of alleles. What I said, for the normal wing, Drosophila has 2 wild type of alleles, that is L plus L plus. That is L plus is on the one homologous chromosome and another L plus is on the another homologous chromosome. So as there are 2 homologous chromosomes, so L plus L plus. Okay, now vestigial winged mutant has LVG, that is on both the homologous chromosome. Now let's see, after the example, let's see what is the definition of a multiple alleles. Now 3 or more number of mutant forms or alleles of the same gene occupying the same locus on homologous chromosomes, so called as a multiple alleles. 3 or more number of mutant forms or alleles of the same gene occupying the same locus on homologous chromosome called multiple alleles. Right? Now, after definition, concept, as well as example, let's see what are the characteristics of a multiple alleles. Now, multiple allele shows some of the specific characteristic. These are multiple allele always share common locus or the same locus, okay, as these are located on the homologous chromosome, as well as these are the multiple form of the same gene, so they are always share same locus. Second characteristic, as multiple alleles they are located on the same locus, so usually not always, there is no crossing over takes place between the multiple alleles. Okay, no crossing over occurs within the multiple alleles. Now after that, as they are the similar form of the same gene, so they always influence the same characteristic, right? So the next character, the wild type allele is almost always dominant to all alleles of the same locus. Like if the LVG is a, it is a mutant form of the mutant form of the gene L, okay, and L plus is the wild form of the gene L. So gene L is always dominant, going to be dominant over the LVG, that is a vestigial mutant form, right? So when the next property or next characteristic, when two mutant allele are crossed, right, the phenotype of the progeny will be always the mutant type. Okay, when we cross the mutant, we'll get the mutant in the progeny. If you cross the normal, you will get normal in the progeny, unless and until there is any kind of mutation takes place in the generation, right? Apart from this, the multiple alleles in our day-to-day life shows number of influences, okay, or here are some examples of the multiple alleles. Let me show you from the Google. Yes, right. Now here is the example of coat coloration in rabbit, right? So here we can see albino, Himalayan, chinchilla, wild type. So these are having multiple shades of the coat coloration: brown, black, off white, and off white with the black strips, as well as albino, that is a completely white. These are nothing but these shades are nothing but because of presence of a specific type of gene or specific type of allele in that individual, right? So for the albino there is a no dominant gene, so it is a completely recessive character. Okay, so like that, in case of a human being also, there are number of multiple alleles seen in skin coloration, as well as they are also found to be showing influence of on our hair coloration, hair texture. Have you seen two peoples or the group of 10 people showing the similar hair texture and hair coloration? No, never. Because the skin coloration, hair texture, okay, likewise many characters are there. So these are the characteristics controlled by the multiple alleles. So number of gene means more than two number of genes are there which going to influence, which going to control the said character. So that's why we get variation in skin coloration, even in the hair coloration, even in the hair texture, right? So this is because of the influence of multiple alleles. Now let's see the example of the multiple allele. That is one of the known example, it is ABO blood group system in human. So the ABO blood group system, it was first invented by the scientist Karl Landsteiner in 1900. He classified the blood of a human being into 4 different types, that is A, B, AB and O group. So blood is typed according to the presence or absence of an antigen and antibody. So antigen, what are the antigens? Now question arises. Antigens are the substances which are capable of stimulating the production of a specific antibodies. Okay, it is capable of stimulating the production of specific antibodies, so it is said to be the antigen. Even sometimes antigen can be treated as a foreign substance, because when it enters in your body, that triggers the synthesis of antibodies. Right now there is a COVID, right? So coronavirus is also there. Number of viruses, bacteria, whatever foreign material that enter in our body and trigger our immune system to synthesize the antibodies. So that's said to be antigen. Now in our own body there is an antigen, right? That antigen is specific for a particular person, and that antigen, where do it located? Okay, so that antigen is located on the surface of RBCs, right? Now it triggers the synthesis of a specific antibodies. Now what are the antibodies? Antibodies are the substances produced by animal in response to foreign substance or the antigen. Right? Now here I have given two tables. Let me take the brush. Okay, here I have given two tables showing the blood group, their antigen and antibodies in human. See, if the blood group A is there, then in the blood, that is on the RBCs of such a person, there will be antigen A, but blood of such a person never carries antibody A. It always carries the another type of antibody, that is antibody B. So if there is blood group B, then there will be antigen B. So whatever antigen is present on the RBCs, that going to define the blood group. Okay, and opposite to that, in contrast to that, antibodies are always present. If you say ki like the blood of the means the person blood group is A with antigen A and always having antibodies A, no, there will be clumping. So blood of such a person will get clot. So naturally antigen A and antibody A, they never exist in the body of a person. Right? Now if the blood group is AB, then there will be antigen A and B both present on the surface of RBCs, right? And there will be no antibodies naturally exist in the blood of such a person. If there is a blood group O, that means there is a no antibody and there will be there is a no antigen and there will be antibody A and B in the blood of such a person, right? Now here is the another table shown inheritance of ABO blood group, that is inheritance of the gene isohemaglutinogen. Isohemaglutinogen is the gene which identifies or which is specific for carrying that AB or ABO antigen, right? So it is a gene for the blood grouping. Now there is one more example, that is Rh blood group system. So Rh blood group system is used for classifying the blood according to the presence or absence of the Rh antigen. Now what is Rh antigen? Rh antigen is nothing but rhesus monkey factor, and that rhesus monkey factor going to define your blood group either in a positive way or in a negative way. So this Rh blood group system is again totally different system of the ABO blood group system. Okay, and collectively if the blood group of a particular person is saying or it is said to be AB positive, then that means the blood of such a person carries A as well as B antigen. Along with that there is Rh positive antigen present, right? And if AB negative means A and B antigens are there but there is no Rh antigen. Okay, now anti-Rh antibodies do not occur naturally. Both Rh positive and Rh negative persons possess anti-Rh antibodies in the blood at the time of birth. Okay, and thereafter they become disappeared. Now here is the table that shows presence of Rh antigen and Rh antibodies. Okay, now if Rh positive blood group is there, that means the genotype is RR or maybe capital R small r, right? And it shows a reaction, positive reaction with the Rh antibodies, right? Now after that, this means Rh positive, maximum near about 85% of the people they are Rh positive, and Rh negative, it is always symbolized by small r genotype, and there is no reaction, it don't show any reaction with the antibody, Rh antibody, and the percentage of the people with Rh negative blood group type is very less, that is 15% almost. Now here is the example of erythroblastosis fetalis. We can skip that example because Okay, let's see in a few minutes. Okay, now erythroblastosis fetalis, what is that? It is actually the hemolytic disease of the newborn. So whenever the Rh negative father or Rh negative man marries with a Rh positive man marries with a Rh negative woman. So during the first pregnancy of such a couple, the Rh negative mother carries Rh positive fetus in her womb, and after parturition, the Rh positive blood, little amount of Rh positive blood, that is RBCs, enter into the mother body, that going to trigger synthesis of anti-Rh antibodies in the body of a mother. Now these anti-Rh antibodies remain as memory cells in the mother's body, and whenever such a Rh negative mother, okay, conceives for the second time, okay, carries a positive Rh positive baby or fetus in her womb. So at that time, as the fetus is Rh positive, now this mother carries Rh positive antibodies. So this can be recognized by the mother's body, okay, and this anti-Rh antibody from the mother's blood through the placenta, it reaches towards the fetus, it attack on the fetus WBCs and causes hemolysis. So RBCs of such a newborn, not newborn, we can say RBCs of such a fetus will going to start lysis, and all these uh, dead RBCs get clogged into the liver of such a fetus, and so there is a liver failure, liver cirrhosis occurs, and because of that, and because of the lysis of the RBCs, the death of such a fetus occurs itself in the womb. So this is a possibility often observed in case of a Rh positive man marries with the Rh negative woman. So that condition is called as a erythroblastosis fetalis. Now let's move ahead with the significance of the blood group. Why the blood group is knowledge of the blood group is important. Now the knowledge of blood group is important in the blood transfusion. So in that case, the cross matching of the blood is done before the blood transfusion. When there is no clumping, means no clotting, the blood then and then only can be transferred into the body of a recipient. So the second significance is that in the medical legal applications, it helps to determine the parenthood of the babies which may have been accidentally exchanged in the hospitals, right? So the blood group knowledge is useful for investigation of the criminal cases by examining the blood stain observed at the crime site. So importance of a multiple alleles, there are a number of importance, but few of them we can memorize. It is useful for the blood transfusion, it is used in medical legal cases, as well as it is useful for the determination of the, or we can say for solving the criminal cases. Okay, now that's all about the multiple alleles. I hope this introductory lecture of the multiple alleles you will like it. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can ask me, or you can put the questions on the YouTube also. That's all. Thanking you once again. I'm saying thank you to all the audience. Myself, Dr. Savita Tidme, KTHM College, Nasik.